If you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough. This is one of the quotes and phrases that I love, that's run my life, that I really take to heart, and I want to impart it with you. There was a sign on Albert Einstein's desk. Sometimes the quote's attributed to him, but there's a sign on his desk. Einstein was a genius at explaining complex ideas and the leading edge of physics and new concepts that were blowing even the smartest people in the world away at the time to any audience. He could explain it to the top peers, to college students, or even to journalists. If you look at and listen to Einstein's of his explanation of the general theory of relativity, you'd see that part of his real genius was his ability to explain things simply. The reason this is so important to me, and this came to me and why it's potent, is there was this one time when I was a kid, I was studying some software development manuals, about 8, 9, 10 years old. And I remember distinctly having this big manual about basic programming. And my grandfather, I was visiting his home, and my grandfather asked, he said, "Noah, what are you reading about?" And I told him, "Some programming." He's like, "Specifically what?" And I got frustrated, and I was like, "You wouldn't understand, and it's complicated, it's technical." And he told me that quote: if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough. And I got mad, I got frustrated, I got defensive. I was like, "Well, you don't get it," etc. But when I slowed down years to come, I noticed that he was right. Absolutely right. I actually didn't understand what I was reading at that time well enough to be able to internalize and articulate it and regurgitate it back. You can use it actually as a litmus test for how well you understand something. Try it yourself. Explain to your partner, to your friends, to your kids something you're learning, and see how well you can actually explain it. The better, I'll bet you, the better you can explain it, the better you actually understand it. And they say, if you really want to learn something, teach it. Anything you just listen to is entertainment. Anything you put into action or that comes out of your mouth, you keep. You can actually tell just instinctively how well somebody understands a concept by how well they explain it. Like, we have a gut feel and reaction based off of how well something is explained to us. Try it. Ask your friends or something, anything to explain something. Ask them something that they think they know, but you know that maybe they're bullshitting, and then ask them about something that you think they really know. I guarantee you that what they really know, they will be able to explain it and articulate it easier in a way that you can understand and better. This is something I do with my kids. I have this little game going. I'll explain some concept, I don't know, something about the yard or science, and then I'll ask them, "How well did you understand that? Scale 1 to 10. And they'll be like, "Dad, that was about a 7. I'll be like, "Great. What could I do to improve?" And they'd be like, "It was a bit long," or "I didn't understand this part," or "You were using words I didn't know over there." And then sometimes I'll do it with them. I'll say, "Okay, you explain to me something you're learning." What a great tool to use to level up your own level of understanding. I went to Microsoft and I worked there for about 6 years on a software development product called Visual Studio, and my interviewer asked me one of my favorite questions: how would you explain web services to grandma? Okay, so web services essentially is this technology where one computer can get information from another computer through the internet, through the cloud, and it's a way that they can talk to each other and speak a language that they can understand each other. You've got to be able to understand your audience and how to connect the dots and what information is actually important. Another great example is Talia Gershnon, a PhD at IBM Research, has a video on YouTube with about 6.7 million views at the time of this, titled "Quantum Computing Expert Explains One Concept in 5 Levels of Difficulty." And what's so fascinating about it isn't just the technical information, but it's how incredibly well articulated she is at those 5 different levels. Again, that's my tip. If you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough. I'd love to hear in the comments if you've used this before, if you use it as a tool for yourself, for family, in interviews. It's one of my favorite interview questions, to ask people to explain something simply. Can you use it for yourself? Do you understand something better because of it? What are your thoughts? What have you found that's been useful? I'm Noah Code. Thanks for watching.